Hi, I'm here today with Andrea Blue, and she is our very first Habitat for Humanity of Mecosta County homeowner. She's been so generous to sit down with us today and have an kind of conversation about her experience with Habitat back in the day and her life as it has evolved and the successes that she has been able to accumulate and how she feels Habitat has been a part of allowing her to move forward in her life with such great success and as she has. So thank you so much, Andrea, for being with us today. Can you give us a little bit of a background on how
Absolutely.
you back in the day, what year it was that you first got in touch with Mecosta County Habitat for Humanity, and how it came to be that you were our number one home that we built as an affiliate.
Perfect. First of all, thank you for this opportunity. Hello, Barb, and to all the people that will see this and that are listening, individuals that are wishing and hoping that they could have a home. I just want to share this story because it is possible for someone just like me. It can be possible for you too, and I will tell you why. My name is Dr. Andrea Blue, and I was not always doctor. I started out in little bitty Big Rapids, Michigan, and I was a single mother at the time. Actually, I was a mother of three, no, two at the time. And I was a mother of two, and I wanted a home. I really, really wanted a home. I was renting, and I was renting these places. I even lived in a barn, okay? I lived in a barn, and I tell you, people would come in there and they were like, "Oh my goodness, this is the cleanest barn I've ever been I've ever been in." When they would come in, it would smell like bleach. It would be, fresh. The it would just be like fresh food would be cooked. It would just be like home. I made it home. So every place that I lived, it would be home. And so I wanted my children to feel like this is where we are right now. There's going to be greater later. So with that, I was looking in the newspaper, and at the time I was working at the newspaper and the local newspaper place, and I looked in there, and they had an advertisement about owning a home, and so I was like, oh my goodness, could I ever own a home? And so I was working with someone at the local recycle center, and she shared with me that you should apply. And I was like, no, I don't know. And so I applied. And from that, the process began with us doing, them doing the investigation of my background, learning more about the reason why I wanted a home, what I wanted to do with the home. And I was so excited. All I needed was just give me an opportunity. I didn't need anyone to just say, here's a handout. I wanted to do the work. So with that, we put in sweat equity hours. I learned how to drywall. I learned how to nail a actual nail. We didn't have the clicker thing where you could push the button. We had to actually do the stain and all of that. So pick out the colors and all of that. And that was back in 1996. So here we are in 2022. That was a long time ago. And I've been the homeowner for just that long. And I will tell you more about that story in a moment.
Wow, that is so wonderful. So how long did it take to build that home? Do you remember how that process worked?
It took about a good year and a half because, man, I tell you, we had someone, his name was Norval. I will never forget him. He was an older gentleman, but he knew his stuff, and he wanted to
What was
make
his
sure.
name?
Norval.
Norval. Okay.
Yes,
Sure.
and
We know
he
Norval.
was, he knew what needed to be done, and he just baby stepped us and taught us how to do it. He didn't just go and do the work, but he wanted to teach us the importance of owning a home and the things that we should know about the home, like the vents, how often to change like your furnace, filter, things like that. He taught us how to check for the when you renting a place, you don't think about these things because you're like, the landlord will take care of that. But to make sure that when you are renting, when you're owning a home, like when the air is flowing through and there are leaks in, air coming through, that means that you're losing money. And he
Sure.
taught us all those things. So yes, that was so exciting at that time.
Now, you had two children at the time. What are your kids' names?
They are, do I want to tell that? Okay, I'll tell their
You
names.
don't
I'll
have to
tell.
tell us. I will edit that out. We don't have to tell. So
Okay.
I'll ask another question.
Yes.
So when you were, they started the process of you, um, building the home. So when the process started and you, had sweat equity, that you had to put in, which we still have in the program. This was all back in the day. What I wanted to make clear is back in the day, we had all volunteers that were doing all of our homes.
Yes.
This house built, you moved in 96. I think they
Mhm.
started it in 95 then, correct?
Yes.
And then it was all volunteers until I started in 2014.
Mm.
So our affiliate built, when I started, 30 homes, including yours, which was number one, with all volunteers. And they opened a restore in Stanwood first in 2013, and then hired executive director, which is my position. And they hired the executive director. So now we have staff and we've expanded our programs. But that this was definitely a labor of love for many volunteers back in the day.
Yes.
For when you were part of the program. So how did it change your perceptions of yourself and your family when you first became a homeowner?
So I will tell you that, man, I never thought that I would be a homeowner. And during this process, I'll tell you, Barb, I didn't even know that I was expecting my third child. And I'll tell you what Habitat did, because during this process, it was supposed to be just a 2-bedroom, but because I was expecting, and I didn't even know that, they accommodated me and added that third bedroom for me, because they knew that this was going to be my forever home, and I wanted to raise my children there. But I tell you, it didn't have matter if I was, expecting or whatever. I was 2 months and I found out. And so I was still in there doing drywall and all of that. So just because you have an ailment or because you have young children, please don't let that be the reason that you do not put in the hours to get your home, because this is your forever home. This is some place where you can call your own. You can mark on the wall their heights and all that stuff. I would encourage you to get like a piece of paper and put it on there, but to just mark and say, this is something that I can have as legacy for my children. And then, equity grows into the home and it is yours. And it's not something that someone could ever, take away from you as long as you make the payments. And I will tell you that anyone that is thinking about this process, this would be a great start for anyone, just like myself, to go ahead and do the process. Now, they may tell you no the first time, apply again, okay? They had many applications when I applied, but I didn't waver. I was just like checking on my application all the time. Yes, no, what, and so I was so excited and I just kept praying, because I knew that if it was for me, then it would be okay. And it was. And everything came out to be the way that it was supposed to be.
So then let's go a little forward in your life. When you started, you said that you were working at the Pioneer newspaper in town here.
Yes.
And then you then decided to, once you were settled in your own home, you wanted to improve your life and the life of your family in different types of ways. So what was the next step for you then?
Well, the next step was I started working at Big Rapids Public Schools. I worked in the library for many years, as well as I was a fill-in person. So back in those days, they would call you in the classroom to just take over the classroom if someone was sick. We didn't have the subs like it was now. And, I was delighted to do it because that's my background, education, business and management anyway. And then from there, catapulted to working at Fair State University for 14 plus years. And here I am today as a business owner and entrepreneur, telling other women, and that you can do this work, you can do this yourself, and you can be a homeowner yourself, and teaching them the importance of more than just uh, renting, but also owning something of your own, and how you can use that equity within your home to build value for your family and moving forward. So, yes.
So through the process, you also received your PhD, is it?
Absolutely, I did.
And you just continue to get educated, and you wanted to mentor. That's your company mentors women.
Yes,
You want to tell us about your company and the name of it?
absolutely. So the name of my business is B&J Enterprises, LLC. And under our business, we have Blue Pathways Educational Mentorship Services, as well as Paramount Recruitment Agency. Now, Blue Pathways Educational Mentorship Services is where we work with women, men, girls, and boys. And we won't say students because we work with individuals that are out of the prison system, and we work with individuals that have aged out of foster care. So our avatars are between the ages of 10 through 25, and is within the Black and Brown community. And so with our Paramount Recruitment Agency, we work with businesses that are seeking to scale, but they just need an extra helping hand. We have virtual assistants that will help them do that either remotely, or we can have them come in person to help them up from 15 hours a month up to 40 hours a week. So we do that work because we know how intentional it is and how important it is for individuals that don't have their voice. And sometimes they just want to have a job or a career. We don't call it a job, but want to have a career, but they may not want to just be in the office the whole time, but they are also helping business owners as well. So we love this work. And I've been doing this for the past 8 years, and I am intentional about moving forward. We are on our way to Dubai. And then from Dubai, we are on our way to travel to Pennsylvania. And the goal is to ultimately open a center, mentorship center, or actually a school. That is our goal. So we are very excited about this work because it never ever stops. And being an entrepreneur is in my blood. My mother was an entrepreneur, so I'm excited about this work that we do.
Andrea, I'm blown away by what you've accomplished and what you set your sights on doing. Do you feel that the first experience that you had with home ownership helped set the stage for this? I can see you're a driven person. Do you feel the process of home ownership changed the trajectory of your experience that has led you to this place? I know that you've always been driven. I can see that, obviously, but how did the experience with Habitat and home ownership set you on this path?
Well, I will be honest with you, Barb. I believe in transparency because I was a little bit, made up a little bit different. I was a go-getter, but not every homeowner is a go-getter. And so I have reached out to several Habitat for Humanity organizations to have me come in and be an advocate to help individuals that are thinking of home ownership. Sometimes they don't want to hear from you as being, an administrator. They want to hear from somebody that is a homeowner. I want to be able to listen to those stories and help them when they are thinking about, okay, well, I'm a little bit older now. I don't know what to do with my home. Should I keep it? Should I rent it? Should I sell it? Those kind of topics that I wish that there could have been someone to help me with those things. And also, sometimes when life gets overwhelming and you may miss a payment or you get behind, I wish that there would have been someone there that could have been that person. Now, you guys are great at welcoming, The package was great. I got the Bible, I got the hammer, all of that. But along the way, it would have just been nice to have someone that was, not from the administrative side, but someone that was like me. And me being the first, I get that. And I understand that it probably was things that were in the works. But hopefully, as people move forward, that there is opportunities like that in place for them, because it is hard. It's tough because you want what you have and you're trying to hold on to it, but all these other things sometimes get in the way. You just need someone to kind of understand where you are.
Oh, I can see. So what you're saying is, the things that you felt like would have been beneficial to you along the way, you've basically made a company out of, a
Absolutely.
business out of, so that you can fill those needs and assist people, because you have had this experience, and where you can implant that kind of experience for the good, because
That's
you've been there.
exactly. Well, that's one part of it. Yeah, because yes, Habitat was a portion of it, but there's usually businesses are growing out of pain, and that is one of the parts of it. Yes, I am forever grateful for Habitat, and I am grateful for the people that came in my life. And yes, some of them are gone on, but I am grateful for that opportunity. And it did put a spark in me, like, if this was to happen, then what else could occur? And that is only because of the grace of God. It's not because of my mercy, nothing that I've done so great or that I'm so deserving, but that is because of the grace of God. And that is because of opportunities like this, where I'm able to share this story to help someone else to be able to understand that it is possible, that it is possible.
Do you have any other words of wisdom or advice that you'd like to give somebody out there? I mean, right now we have a program. The way we start, we don't just do advertisement and then applications for our home ownership program now. We do start with financial coaching. So the entire process is done. The first thing you do is you apply for financial coaching, and we want to get everybody qualified for any type of mortgage, not just a Habitat house.
Mhm.
So it's free of charge. You have to pay for a few things like your credit report and things like that. But that's where our new homeowners start. And so we help them clean up their credit, but it's also one of those deals where the responsibility is on the applicant to follow through and to help themselves through this program and through this process to get themselves their credit cleaned up. A lot of people are afraid, of course, I think you understand that, to look at their credit, to kind of move through the process of figuring out how can they improve it, things they have to face that they don't want to face. But if they want to move forward, with good credit, as we know, is a massive hindrance for some people of even feeling valuable in this world.
Mhm.
And so we try to help that first and foremost, and then they move into our home ownership program when they're prepared and credit, they're financially grounded.
Mhm.
And so that's one way we have changed since you were started in the program. And I always feel like we're doing as much good helping people with their credit as we are in getting them into home ownership. Because credit can be such a devastation to so
Yeah.
many people and can really affect your self-esteem. So
Totally.
that's one of the ways that we've changed over the years. Do you still own the house that you had here in Big Rapids?
Well, you know what? I tell you, we were there. We raised our children. Um, I was married, divorced, married again, and we allowed our children to stay there. So it was like we had so much use out of that house, but now it was time to say, you know what, it's time to move on, to allow someone else to be in that home that will love it as much as we did. And now someone else is living there and they are enjoying it, and they reach out to me and we have conversations. So no, we are not there anymore, but I will tell you that anyone that is thinking about home ownership, pre-qualification is the first step, so that you'll know how much house you can get, whether it's with Habitat or, whatever it is. So don't be afraid, don't be nervous, because this is you. Um, you are not your credit score. You can adjust that. It can be changed. But it is not putting you into devastation where you're getting more than you can really handle. That's what that's all about. So don't be afraid. Go ahead and take the steps to get it done, and know that you're in good hands with Habitat. They will, make sure that you will get what you need, and make sure that you are following through with the process. But I tell you, once they do say yes, that's the worst thing that could happen, is when they say yes, not the no, but the yes, because then you have to do the work. You have to really get in there, and you have to start doing the sweat equity and understanding that I am about to be a homeowner. I am a homeowner. So now it's up to me to make this place beautiful for not just me, but for my family as well. So remove the fear. It's just false evidence, appearing to be real. It's just telling you in those records in your head that you can't do it. But I will tell you that it is possible, because I'm not any superstar. Someone, saw the great in me, and God opened the door, and I walked in, and here I am today. So.
Well, Andrea, I will disagree with one thing. I do absolutely feel that you are definitely a superstar. And we could not be more proud of you and everything that you've accomplished, and just that you've been part of our Habitat family, the very first family. You paved the way for, we just completed our 34th house in Mecosta County. And we love and treasure every single one of our families, and you are our founding family, and we appreciate you and everything that you've accomplished and everything that you want to continue to accomplish. So if you could go back and give advice to yourself as you were thinking through the process before you applied, maybe living in that barn, what would you say to that young woman that you were, and fast forward with everything you've accomplished, from your perspective, how would you explain to her the difference that this experience would make?
Wow, that's a good question. During the time I, was married, and I had a spouse that did not want a house because he didn't understand like the importance of ownership. And so if you're with someone that is a naysayer, or you have family that doesn't believe in the process, or your credit's too bad, or nobody's going to give you a house, or yay, no, what all that other stuff, don't believe them. Believe in yourself and know that this is for you 10, 30, years down the road, and know that this is equity. This is property. And there's nothing like owning land and property that is, it's almost like cash, because cash is king. So you want to make sure that once you get that yes, that you really lock in, and don't be afraid, because I just was starting to hear those, records playing in my head, and I was starting to believe them, and I was starting to doubt myself. And then I had to really, pull within myself and say, if this is for me, then this will happen. And then from there on, I just kept doing what I, know to do, and do the right thing. I always do the right thing. Tell the truth. If you don't have it, tell the truth. Be honest on your paperwork. Don't try to fabricate anything. And from that, with me being honest, I tell you, I believe that's why the doors were open for me, because I don't, when I try to tell a story, or I try to, make people feel good or whatever, it always turns out to be bad. So tell the truth. Always tell the truth, and know that if it's for you right now, the door will be open. And if it's a no right now, don't give up. Don't quit on yourself. Keep going, because eventually it will happen. It will happen. If you keep, it's almost like digging a hole. If you keep taking your fingernail and digging at that hole long enough, you will get to a portion of it. May not get to the bottom of everything, but you will get to a portion, and from there, you can plant a seed. Someone else will come along and they'll water that seed, and then someone else will keep it beautiful. They'll take it and love on it. So you are that seed. You are that seed, and know that Habitat is here to open up the door for you. So it's up to you to walk in and do the work.
Beautifully, beautifully said. Thank you so much, Andrea. Is there anything else that you'd like to add?
No.
Just even from the email, this is whether we don't put this in or not, just from our email exchanges, we've all fallen in love with you just from this really almost, I mean, just you're trying to get your just documentation that we hadn't filed back in the day, and you're saying, oh no, I had we for sure paid it off. We had a party.
Yeah, we did. We made a copy and burned the deed, so we paid it off.
So that's how we first I first got the communication with you going, and it's a thrill to me because you're such a beautiful success story. And I'm so proud of our organization.
I am too.
Just because I'm so proud of you. It just I can't tell you what it means to us to see. We love every one of our families, and the last one of the families that we worked with over the last several years, she was a single mother, and she was saying, I appreciate this so much. I appreciate this so much. And I said, if we do our job right, by the time your house is ready to move into, you'll transition that appreciation for us into the appreciation for yourself.
Absolutely.
Because that's really what it's about, is that the growth of knowledge that you are strong enough to do the things that it takes to get where you want to go.
Yeah.
And that strength is definitely in you.
Yes.
And you inspire so many people.
Yes, I have to keep going. I can't quit. That's why I keep reaching out to the Habitat here in Kent County to have me come and speak to homeowners or people that are thinking about, but I would love to come and speak if you guys have a monthly opportunity to just talk to individuals that are pre-qualifying, or individuals that, because that organization within the home is so important, and not clutter and all of that, and upkeep and those things like that, and how the property value will go down if you have like a whole bunch of junk outside, and you'll get a ticket, and all those things are important, because the transition from being a renter to being a homeowner, that mindset just needs to be changed, and it needs to have a conversation, because the goal is not just to give someone a home and to just expect them to know all those things, but to know that there's no judgment. But if I were you, this is what I would do to keep my property up, because eventually there's going to come a time where you want to give it to your child, will it to your kids, or pull the equity out of it, or whatever it is, and you want to keep it up so that you're not always trying to fix it. And it, so when we moved out, we didn't have much to do. I mean, paint, some things like that. So there, make sure that you keep it up and take care of it, and it'll take care of you. Absolutely.
Well, I don't want to take any more of your time. We have until 12. Do you have anything more that you want to say?
No, I do not. I really appreciate you, but I hope that you keep that in mind to think about me coming to share my story with a group, that if you have it. But other than that, Barb, I thank you for this opportunity, and you have my information if you would like to reach out.
What we're going to do is we're doing our first newsletter, email newsletter. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a snippet of something that you've said and put that wording in there. If you want, could you send me a professional picture?
Absolutely.
And do you have any pictures from back in the day that when you guys were building the house?
Absolutely. I have the newspaper clippings.
Ooh, if you send that to us, then we'll put that all in this part and we'll chop this up. So, it's, your story and
Yeah,
not
because I know
really.
we talked about some other stuff, so.
But I will tell, so we're gonna link this conversation, the Zoom call, this interview, after it's been edited, and we're gonna link that to, so anybody looking at it can see some of the picture or a picture of you, and then go on to, the thing that we're gonna make as a video, link for
Okay.
people to watch this. So this, then you can share this with everybody that and we can
Yay.
share, then this is getting your message out too.
I like that.
So I love that.
Mhm.
And anything that you want from us or need from us, we'd love for you to come in and talk to our board sometime and talk about the experience for you.
Mhm.
And I love the fact that you're saying there were some holes there.
Yeah.
And, I definitely know that. And,
Yeah.
we definitely are always trying to improve.
Yeah.
And I transparency is important as anything else, because that's how we improve.
Exactly. Yes. So no harm, no foul. I mean, I'm elated. I'm happy. I have no qualms about anything, but with any process, you want to make sure that it's better, because it maybe have been for me, but now it may be something different for someone else, and you want them to have a good experience, so that they can tell somebody
Absolutely.
else. Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So any other closing thoughts?
Well, only thing I would say to you, because I'm working on a huge report, Barb, is just to send me an email of what you need from me so that I won't miss anything. And then I will definitely upload this link to YouTube, because I know it's going to be long, because right now it's like almost 36 minutes. So YouTube will, shrink it down a little bit. So other than that, that's all that I have. But thank you.
And professional picture. Oh, I'll send you the email. Professional
Okay.
picture and any other pictures that you think would be interesting to share with our news people. And if you have any emails that you'd like us to send this to, or you can forward it once you get it.
Okay. Perfect. Okay.
Andrea, I
Yay.
said I'm not kidding when I say that I absolutely love knowing you. I know I love knowing you exist. I love knowing your story, and I really appreciate your time.
Absolutely. Look for me. Look for me.
We will.
Okay.
Thank you very
You're
much.
welcome.
Have
Be
a
well.
wonderful day. Thank